So guys, I'm going to configure vMotion on this. Now, in order to configure vMotion on this, in our network, we have one vCenter, we have one OpenFiler server, one ESXi host, and we have two ESXi hosts here. We have already configured storage on both ESXi hosts, and I do have open both consoles here. I have a legacy console open here, and I have a web console open here as well. So both consoles, you can do it from anywhere. We are doing vMotion today, and in vMotion, what we need to do, we need to fulfill some of the requirements, and the requirements are that first of all, on management port, vMotion should be enabled. So what I need to do is, first of all, I need to go to each host. So I'll go to host number 1, and I'll go to manage, and when you go to manage, go to networking, and within networking, all I need to do, this is my vSwitches in networking, and in networking, it is showing me two vSwitches here. Now what I need to do, I need to go onto VM kernel port because the management port is in VM kernel adapter. It's fine, this is just a class, so by default there should be only one switch. So right here I have VM kernel adapter. You need to go to VM kernel adapter, and VM kernel adapter right here on, make sure that on this adapter right here you should have vMotion enabled. So let me just expand the screen here. So in this one, I'll go edit, and once you go edit on this, just enable vMotion traffic. So again, one more time, I'm going to do this one more time here. So I'm going to go to host number 1, and within host number 1, go to manage, go to networking. Within networking, go to VM kernel, and here in your case, guys, all of you can only see one adapter, and that is VM kernel 0, because I added another management for a different class work. So what I'll do is, I don't need this, I'm going to remove this. I'm just going to remove this. So in this case, I'm going to go into this, go edit, just select the VM kernel 0 and just enable vMotion traffic. So vMotion traffic. So first of all, it is done on host number 1. And secondly, just go to host number 2. So I'm going to show you again. So host number 2, go to manage, go to networking, go to adapter, and just select this and click this pencil. So this pencil icon, in this icon, all you need to do edit, and within this edit, all you need to do vMotion traffic. So this is requirement number 1, that we need to enable this on both hosts. Yes. Because we did that in our classwork, we added another network management port and then added it. So that adapter is not, we're not using it, we're using the VMK0. Now, first thing is this. Guys, the second thing is all VMs should be sitting in a shared storage. So all VMs should be sitting in a shared storage. Now, first of all, let's see where is my VM sitting. So, for example, if I select this VM, and if I go to summary, within the summary, it shows me that this VM is sitting in which storage. So for now, if I select this, and right here in the storage, so I go to, where is my storage? This is VM hardware. This is the storage policies. And right here, it is showing me so under disk. Yes, it is under the disk. It is sitting in data store 1. And data store 1, we all know that it is not a shared storage. Data store 1 is the local store of the host 1. So what I need to do is I need to move it to data store to VM. So what I need to do is you can select storage. Sorry, again, I'm going to go back to the host and cluster. You just select VM. Then when your VM is selected, so guys, here, just first of all, I'm verifying where is my VM sitting. So my VM is sitting. If you select this and you expand disk, if you expand hard disk, in hard disk, it's showing me this is sitting in data store 1. And data store 1 is a local disk of a server. If VM is sitting here, vMotion cannot happen. So we need to move these VMs to a shared storage, and all you need to do, right click on that VM, and say migrate. So when you migrate it, migration wizard gives you these different options: change host or change data store. So for now, we are just changing data store. We are not changing anything. So just click change data store. And then right here, we can go next. And here now it is asking me which data store you want to move. I'm moving it to OFLUN1. So this is logical unit number 1. I'm going to move it here. And it will, the good thing about newer version is that it gives you compatibility as well. If there is, for example, if there is not enough storage in this, it would give you error message, you cannot move it here. So since it can move, I can click next. So you're getting a sufficient memory resources. Uh, So RAM is full. So I'll check that out in a moment. For now, so it is moving, guys. Keep an eye on this. Relocate virtual machine. So relocate. If this not completed successfully, VM is not moved. Just wait until this is completed successfully on this side. Here, 96%. It is going 96% here. Now, in real environment, we can migrate 2 or 3 hosts at the same time, but it's not recommended. Why? Because it uses huge memory resources. Why? Because it will use memory resources, because it's a memory intensive operation when you move a complete disk from one. Now this one took just few minutes because these VMs does not have any OS. Huh? No, this is a storage motion. This is storage movement. Now storage vMotion is when you move live VM storage from one host to another. This is a cold migration. So since these VMs are off and you're moving them, now guys, let's do this for the second VM. So with the second VM, just go to migrate again, and then migration, just a data store migration, and then we need to go to next, and right here select that same storage again. But as you can see, there is some, so in this storage now you're moving it, and next it is moved. So, and it is being moved. So for now, we'll just work with these two VMs. Now with these two VMs fulfill the requirement of vMotion. First of all, on both hosts, we have management port, vMotion is on. First one. Second requirement, VMs should be sitting in a shared storage. Now here, both VMs are moved from the local store to this store. And it's a very simple operation. Right click on a VM, migrate, change data store, it is moved. It might be doing it in the background, but it's just a cold migration, so we're not concerned with it. Even in storage V migration, it does in cycles. Yes, it is done in cycles as well. So guys, V motion is the movement of state of VM, and storage V motion is the movement of complete folder from one host data store to another. So my question to you is, which one will be faster than others? No, I'm talking about vMotion and storage vMotion. vMotion will be faster and storage vMotion will be slower. Why? Because it is moving a huge disk from one place to another. So guys, we fulfill two requirements. Oh yes, just 2 minutes, Amanda. So here we fulfill. So management port. So it is management port, and the second thing is this, guys. The third requirement is CPU. So just have a quick look at the CPU right here. So if I select the host and you go to the summary, now in our VMware environment, all CPUs are exactly the same. Whatever your host CPU is, that CPU. But I'm showing it to you because in real environment, you'll be working with physical servers, so their CPU might be different. Here it's saying this is Intel R Core i7 2720. Now this is the model and this is Intel. Now there are many different models of Intel. So this is just 2720, and I need to make sure if the same model, same CPU exists here. So it is second host summary, and then it is i7 2720. So this fulfills the third requirement. So on host, just go to summary, and here CPU processor type is this, and both should be exactly the same. Now guys, the next third requirement And third requirement is just this, in which VM network port group should have exactly the same name. So for that, I'll go to first host, and then I'll go to manage, and then I'll go to networking, and here I'll go to virtual switch. I'll go to virtual switch here, and within virtual switch, if I go down here, this is my VM network port group where all my VMs are sitting, or at least the VM that moved to storage. So for now, CANF's FS1 and CANF's Web1 are the only two comparable VMs that can move. And these both VMs are sitting, so this is both VMs are sitting in VM network port group. This is the port group that is case sensitive, and this should be exactly spelled, written in the same way as it is written on this. Now let's make sure on host number 2. On host number 2, you go to host number 2 and just go to again manage, networking, virtual switch, and here it is exactly the same name. So you should have exactly the same port group name. Now if this V is smaller, it won't work. If this if the M is capital and the other M is smaller, it won't work. It is case sensitive, this name. So we fulfill 3 requirements here. One is management port group, management port, second same CPU, and third shared storage, and fourth is this. Now guys, let's switch on this machine and quickly do a vMotion. So I'm going to switch this on, power on this machine. Now when you power on the machine, so as soon as you're powering it on, and let's say where is this VM sitting? At the same time, let's see where is the VM sitting at the moment. Guys, the VM is sitting on host number, let's say. So this VM is sitting, so first of all, if you go to the VM, it is on shared storage. It is on VM network, so both are fine. And next thing I need to know is, next thing I need to know which it is sitting on host number 50. So right here it is the host information. So this VM is sitting on this host. And now let's move it to host 60. All you need to do is the movement of live VM from one host to another. Right click on this VM, and then click migrate. Once you click migrate, so right click on this VM and click migrate, and just select the first option, change host. And then next, it should show you a compatibility view. If it is able to move, it means that vMotion is done successfully. How do you make sure? Right after that, you would come back to this location and see if the VM is moved to 50 or not. Now, in my case, I think I selected something to be installed on this, and it's just taking its time. So guys, here, now I'm going to do the vMotion. In order to do a vMotion, before you need to do all of the requirements, and now right click on that VM that needs to be moved, and all you need to do, click migrate. And when you click migrate, it's just vMotion is first option, which is change host. Second option is storage vMotion. We're just doing the first option, and then next. And then here, what we need to do is, it is just validating that if this cluster has different, I need to move it within the cluster. It is compatible, so it checks the complete cluster and gives me a compatibility succeeded, and then next. Now here it is asking which host do I need to move. Here I would select the second host, and here also compatible. Guys, this compatibility, let's say any one requirement is missing, it would give you error message. For example, you forgot to enable management port, for example, not on shared storage, and all those, it would give you, if it is succeeded, it's all good, and all you need to do is next and finish. So, and then just keep an eye on this, that how long it takes. It is 13%, 14%, and once this is all done, all you need to do is verify if the VM is moved. Once that VM is moved, your vMotion is working fine. And here it is moved, and I'll go back to this, and here you see it is moved, and it was a live migration. Guys, in this manner, you can do the second VM as well. So please try that. and also move all of the other VMs to the local storage as well. So all VMs are compatible with vMotion.